Carlos Ramirez, owner of NVS Audio in Roselle, New Jersey. So, I spent the past 2 days testing the new Soundstream Reserve Harley radio. I've put this thing through its paces. I put it on the oscilloscope. I put it against the GT. I put it against the GTS. I put it against the Sony 7000. I checked the speaker level outputs. I checked the RCA outputs. I left it powered on for 12 hours straight today to see if it overheat and shut off. I'm going to do the water test tomorrow. I did the direct sunlight test. I did the leather glove test. I'm going to be honest, I didn't expect this radio to perform well, and so far it has passed most of my tests with flying colors. You have to remember that Epsilon, as a company with brands like Power Acoustic and Precision Power and Soundstream, these are low budget, entry level, exaggerate features, exaggerate wattage. So I didn't expect much. They even gave me a hard time getting the radio because they found out that I was going to order the radio through a friend because I didn't want to be a direct dealer for a company that I wasn't going to support. So they reached out to him, told him not to ship me the radio. Then they were posting all over the forums, and people were asking questions and asked me if I had tested it. And I was being honest. They won't send me the unit, so I can't test it. So I guess word got to the right person, and they reached out to me and we spoke. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's reputation. I'm not trying to make any company lose money. My whole thing is honest, transparent reviews. That's what I do. If the features are good, I'm going to say they're good. If the features suck, I'm going to say they suck. So I explained to them, if your unit does everything it's supposed to do, you shouldn't be afraid to send it to me because I'm just going to be able to verify everything that you said. So it wasn't really the features that were the issue. It was people are thinking this is a replacement. They're thinking it's an exact copy of the GTS radio. So since it's built for a Harley, they think you're going to drop this radio on your Harley Davidson and maintain all your factory features. That is not the case. This is not a factory radio. This is an aftermarket radio. So it's going to have many of the same limitations that installing a Sony or installing a Kenwood or installing an Alpine would have. It requires a CAN module to turn on. You can hardwire it, make the radio come on, but then it doesn't make sense because then you won't be able to use the handlebar controls. So the optional harness, to me, is not optional. You have to buy the harness with the handlebar control module in order to get the most out of this unit. It's $80, so it really doesn't make sense not to get it. Then there's a bunch of features that the radio physically cannot have. It has nothing to do with the quality of the radio. It's just these features are integrated in every Harley Davidson from 2014 through 2022. The entire bike is data bus driven. It's CAN bus data. Steering wheel controls are CAN bus. Radio turn on is CAN bus. Communication with the WIM module, CAN bus. There's features, TPMS, low fuel warnings. These are all features that the radio communicates with the bike and then displays on the radio screen. You cannot have these features with this radio or any aftermarket radio. It will not work with Boom Audio yet. It will not work. So if you have a CVO, you cannot swap your radio for this radio and maintain all your factory features. Will not work with the WIM. Will not work with the LTE module. Will not work with the CB. So you cannot retain CB with this radio. It's just like installing an aftermarket radio. It has a factory look. It is just as weatherproof as the GT and the GTS radio. I don't want to give too much away because my full review will be up tomorrow, but I've literally tested every feature. So I tested it in direct sunlight. Tomorrow we're going to get it wet. Tested the RCAs. So they guaranteed me that the output of this radio would be solid. I didn't believe them. I'm not going to expose what the numbers are yet. I'm going to save that till tomorrow. But I had to retest the RCA outputs 8 times because I didn't believe the readings I was getting. I used 3 different oscilloscopes. I ran 2 of them connected together. I reached out to a couple of friends that have tested it, Chris Purdue and Dirk at 309 Customs, verified my results. We were talking back and forth, and we were both pleasantly surprised. The unit's pretty solid. So there's a few things that are lacking, but at this price point, you really can't complain. The main purpose of this video, because the full review will be up tomorrow, purpose of this video is for you guys to ask questions and leave comments of what features you would like me to test. So the guys over Volunteer Audio did a great review. It's a 45-minute review. I'm going to post a link in the description below so you can check it out. That will answer most of the questions that you guys have. And then I reached out to them. We talked for about an hour today. So I like the way they did their video. And I want you to watch both videos because he answers a lot of questions that I don't want to answer. So my review is going to be more technical. So I have the radio on the test bench. We're going to talk about RMS voltage and sine wave and load test and impedance but they handled all the features. They have it on a bike, they have it playing, they showed the display. They still have some of these radios in stock, so if you guys want to purchase them, Volunteer Audio has I think they have over 100 in stock, and they have more coming in. So I want to know what you guys want me to test. Tomorrow will be my final day of testing. I will edit the video in the afternoon, and it will be up tomorrow night. I've tested the touchscreen with gloves on. I've tested direct sunlight. I've tested how quickly the radio boots up. I've tested CarPlay. I've tested Android Auto. I've tested voice control. So that's a feature I'm excited about. That's one of the features that makes this unit stand out. We'll talk more about that tomorrow. I tested the speed of the handlebar control. That's another thing that made me nervous. They used Scosche as a partner to design the steering wheel module for them. So I was afraid it was going to have the same problem that the Scosche module does with the Sony, where if you hold the volume up button too long, the volume skyrockets, goes all the way to 50 and pins, and you risk blowing your speakers. This does not happen with this radio. I tested it. It works just like the factory. You can hold it, and it'll bring the volume up quickly. You can tap it, but at no time does the volume stay pinned up. That was a huge problem with the Scosche module and the Sony. Not an issue with this radio. Connection's pretty straightforward. I like the harness that it comes with. So anything that I forgot to mention or test, please leave it in the comment. Anything that you want tested. And I'm going to read all the comments tonight and tomorrow morning. And I still have the radio on the test bench. So I will provide these tests as long as I have the equipment possible to test what you guys want me to test. We have one of our competition bikes in the shop, and it has a GT radio in it. So part of the video tomorrow is showing you what the bike sounds like with the GT radio, then removing the GT radio and putting this radio in, and then removing this radio and putting the GTS radio in. So both GT radios are flashed. Obviously, this radio doesn't have to be flashed. And so just let me know what else you want me to test, something I might have forgotten. And the video will be up tomorrow. Thank you, guys.